how I define my role as a policy advisor might be one of the more difficult questions that can be asked, because in my opinion, a policymaker is a linking pin between the worlds of schools, and in schools I mean pupils, teachers, school leaders, parents, and the political authority of a country, in my case the Flemish community. Students in schools, teachers in schools, are the final customers of all the policies in education that we're making. So it's very important to develop good relations, because of course as a policymaker you can't know everything. Teachers, school leaders, students, they're in classes every day, all the time. So we need their expertise in order to be able to work with our policy and to actually know what we're doing in policy making. At the same time, it's really important to communicate decisions that are made on a political level in a country back towards your stakeholders, back towards the pupils, teachers and school leaders in the classes, because it's important that they know which decisions have been taken, why they have been taken, and what the whole rationale behind these decisions was.
Hello and welcome to our second episode, Join the Clan, an online live talk show that is powered by ITclan BD. ITclan BD is an emerging IT company in Bangladesh, and today we're focusing at the students. As we might have noticed in the introductory video, a Flemish teacher was trying to explain and emphasize on the fact how as a policy analyst, as an advisor to policy making, it's making impact towards the education of a country, towards the whole education system of a state. So let's not go further, because in the previous episode we had one of the scholars of the country and Dr. Asif spoke about the benefits of policy making, practicing policy making as such, and which led to the conversation of a policy making competition hosted by the Bangladesh University professionals and one of their esteemed clubs, Economics Club, which is known as POMAC. This was their second edition, and we will have a very short promo video before we discuss about the event, how it went, what actually happened, the experience and overall feedback from two of the winning teams. So just a short video of POMAC 2.0. So overall, I loved the jazz theme of the intro video that POMAC made. But in short, it's a competition which focuses on policy making, negotiation in some cases, debate, and also laying up the strategy. So this competition had 3 rounds, and it was an inter-university competition where students from multiple universities could team up. And the prize money is something very lucrative, which led to 162 teams registering for the event. In the end, 5 teams made it to the final. Among them, we have 2 teams present. Let me get one of the team's members. We have Team Why Nots, represented by Zidane, and also waiting on Zidane's team member, Zaka, to join the show. Let me first introduce myself. So my name is Ahmed Kabir Shayon, and I work as the head of business at ITclan BD. So Zidane, we know each other from before. Would you still formally introduce yourself for our viewers?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Mohamed Zidane. I'm currently studying law at North South University. And yeah, I am someone who loves to do various types of extracurricular activities. Besides studies or any other thing, I'm something which I've always been interested in doing ever since I was in school, and I think that's about it. And looking forward to the conversation we would be having.
Of course, let me also add to the screen your team member, Zaka Zisan Saif. Welcome to the show, Zaka. Thank you for making it with us. Would you formally introduce yourself, please, as well?
Yeah, so I'm Zakazishan Saif, currently studying at North South University. This is my seventh semester, and I'm majoring in computer science and engineering.
Great. Thank you for making time. So, for the viewers, there has not been any script shared. I haven't even shared the questions with any of them. It's just an informal, impromptu discussion. Sit down with a cup of tea. It's a virtual meetup and so on. And personally, I know both of them, Zidane and Zaka, for quite a few years through the very popular extracurricular activity known as Model UN. But today we're not talking about that, are we? So please tell us how it started. Who had the idea that, hey, let's sign up for POMAC?
It's always Zidane who encourages for the all type of business competitions and all. So he was the first one to ask and give this idea that let's sign up for POMAC. Also every competition, he's the one who encourages to participate.
Right. So Zidane, how did you get to know about POMAC?
I think I got to know about it through social media only, through Facebook. And before that, I am currently a part of a club known as Young Economist Forum. So the previous General Secretary of Young Economist Forum, Mr. Chaudhry Waqi Darat, was actually the champions. Like his teams were the champions of the first edition of POMAC. So since then, I've always wanted to do this particular competition. And also, besides that, this is a very different competition. It's not the usual business or case solving competition. This is a policy making competition. So that got me more interested in doing this.
Right. Last week, I spoke with Dr. Asif Shahan, who's one of the like scholars who is and also an economist as well, and he mentioned during our conversation that policy making is something that we do not see often as an extracurricular activity within the country or within Southeast Asia even. For India, it's quite different. They heavily value competitions that encourage policy making. I know you both have done debate, you both have done multiple business competitions. Where do you see POMAC standing? First, let me hear from Zaka and then I'll get to Zidane.
Um, POMAC was mostly an economic based competition. So I think the idea is quite familiar because I have seen even like Zidane said that we have been a part of a club called Young Economist Forum. So where in that club we also organized Econ Prodigy. It was one of the first policy making competition too, right? So I think it's quite familiar to us because we have always seen this sort of competition coming up.
Right, Zidane.
If I had to answer, I would say that policymaking is certainly important, and the format of POMAC in itself was a mixture of a lot of ECS that we have been doing. If I have to talk about the first round of POMAC in itself, it involved us making policies based on certain solutions that based on certain problems that we had in various industries. For example, jute is one of the largest industries in our country, but today's condition of jute industry of Bangladesh is not at its best. So we needed to make a policy on that particular aspect so that we are able to revitalize the jute industry. And
Right,
similarly, if I have to talk about the leather industry or the blue or the fishery industry, so we got an insight into various industries and we got to make policies. So a lot of research was involved in the first part, whereas the second part was
right.
the policy debate. So debate is an
Yeah.
ECA which we did individually, but just because of POMAC, we got an opportunity to enhance our debating skills and like debate on the policies that we have already made with the opposition team. And the last round was slide making and presentation. So if I look at POMAC
Yep.
as a whole, it is a mixture of various types of ECS we have already done and put into one.
Mhm.
That is the fun of it. And at the same time, making policies was also there.
Right. So I'm going to share your winning photo capture right now. Let me share my screen. I'm sure you will get to see the moment it's there. So let's talk about that particular moment. Right. That's a beautiful capture, by the way. So was the money a big motivation factor for you, or it was just the fact that you got to learn and explore something new, or carry the legacy of one of your club seniors? I'll start with Zidane.
Absolutely not. Money is never the factor. The factor is the experience in itself and the ability to do a competition like POMAC, to be in the finals and to give your best. So that was always the motivation. Like I said, I saw Wafi Bhai winning. So I would have loved if we won, but unfortunately we were the second runners up. So the motivation was to be among the top three. That was definitely the motivation for me, from
Right.
personally.
I think you are winners. Like all five teams that made it to the final that spoke on the day presented so eloquently are winners in their own terms. Zaka, how do you feel about the photo and your thoughts?
Um, Money was not a factor, but it was the motivation that our previous, just like Zidan said, that our previous GS carried. So I think that it was a great experience for me. I learned a lot. It was it was a different type of competition for me because I have participated it for the first time. So I think that it was a very amazing experience.
Right. Um, I have a couple more questions before I get the champion team on our screen. But let me first ask this question to Zidan. So, Zidan, as a student from law and having your teammates from, say, computer science, engineering in different backgrounds such as BBA, do you think having a mixture was helpful and an advantage for this competition? Or had all of you been from economics background, I mean, department wise, would that have given you an extra edge? What are your thoughts once you've gone through this competition now?
To be honest, from my experience, I feel major hardly matters because I see people winning marketing competitions even though they are not marketing majors, or finance competitions even though they are not finance majors. What matters is your ability to understand the problem, and most importantly, your ability to do research. If I talk about from my MUN experiences, we were school kids when we used to do MUNs, and we used to
Yeah.
talk about international laws and conventions. So not necessarily everyone was not an IR student or wasn't studying political science. It's the
Hmm.
determination and the passion that they had to research and give their best on the given day. So I think that mattered. And secondly, I think the team coordination, to know everyone's role, to know which team member researches which part, who is responsible
Yep.
for making the slides, who is responsible for starting the presentation and carrying forward the important points. That team coordination is very important, I would say. So research and team coordination, that matters a lot.
Right. I'm going to ask a different question to Zaka before we move to the last question. So, with 162 teams, and when you first attended the roadshow, information started coming in and you started preparing, what were your thoughts and how did you approach the task that was given to the team?
When we got our first case, it was a bit difficult for me to understand it because I'm not from an econ major and I'm from like a different major. So for
Yep.
me, I took it. Firstly, I was a bit nervous about it, but then again, I took it very sportingly and I researched a lot through it. And the approach was very simple for us because we researched industry wise. So I think that wasn't a very big deal that we were always stuck in the case. So I think
Hmm.
that we could understand the case in a very short period of time. So it was comparatively easier.
Okay. So the final question to Team Why Nots. Um, what would your message be towards people, towards students, teams that are planning to attend the next POMAC? And do you see a competition like POMAC to be supported and promoted more by external companies? They had only 10 sponsors. Do you think more companies should come forward and sponsor such a competition like this?
Definitely, definitely. I would definitely think that there should be more policy making competitions that should be around, and competitions such as POMAC be supported, because essentially we are talking about our country's economy, how to better our export earnings, how to make sure that we are able to regenerate certain incomes in respective industries. Like Bangladesh used to be the number one jute industry in the world, and right now they're
Yep.
at number two. So we need policies to make it to number one once again. So obviously, we would need sponsors to support such competitions. That's number one. Number two, in regards to how should teams prepare, first and foremost, I would ask teams to do a certain amount of business competitions, because you need certain amount of case solving competitions and you need certain amount of experience before you dive into a competition like POMAC. And I would also like to say that for students who does ECA such as MUNs, it helps a lot because in MUNs we
Yeah.
have this thing known as draft resolution where we also essentially make policies on certain problems, and here the circumstances are sort of similar. And lastly, I
Yeah.
would like to give a shout out to my team members Siam Morshed and Chiabu Zaman Bhai because they were the second runners of all the first POMAC. So the experience that they
Yeah.
had, that certainly helped us a lot. So you need
Hmm.
experienced candidates as well in your team. So experience matters a lot.
Right. Zaka, your comments.
My comment is as same as Zidan said that experience matters a lot. I would one suggestion I would like to give is don't get demotivated because I have seen that teams get demotivated very easily after their first competition or second competition. So I think that they should keep on doing competitions so that they don't get demotivated and learn from the competition. Because once we participate a competition, we just if we don't make it to the second round or third round, it's just done there. We don't try to understand what was our flaws. So I think that teams should try to work on it and get a proper feedback from the organizers, from the judges after doing every competitions.
Right. Thank you so, so much for supporting my call, supporting my invitation, and coming on Join the Clan talk show. I wish you all the very best. And from IT Clan's perspective, we want to see you winning more competitions, shining even brighter than what you are doing today. And hopefully, from a Young Economic Forum or even a club or even like your academic institution that you've represented, you come up with organizing policy making competitions. Thank you so,
Inshallah.
so much. Have a good day, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Anand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So that was Team Why Nots, and they were the second runner up of the competition. From our side, I actually reached out to BUP Economics Club. I reached out to SANEM. I tried to reach out to the Department of Economics of BUP, and due to heavy load of exams, the organizers of POMAC could not join us today. But we do have with us the grand winners of POMAC 2.0, Team Razmataz. I'm going to add the members of Team Razmataz to the screen. We have Priyota, we have Mahmudul, and we have Sumaya. So this is the moment that we're going to start our discussion with. Let me get the winners of POMAC onto the screen with me, starting with Mahmudul Hassan. And let me get Sumaya onto the screen as well. We have Priyota as well. I think Priyota is getting ready. So we have Priyota now as well. Now we have a full house, except Samin could not join us, whom I actually personally communicated. So first up, welcome to join the clan. We have not spoken, I suppose, personally or through any other formal session. So this is our first excuse to say hi. So how have you all been? Let
Hello.
me start with hello. Let me start with Priyota. Could you kindly introduce yourself for our audience?
Hello, I'm Priyata Lazmi. I'm currently studying business administration at Bangladesh University of Professionals, and I'm in fourth semester right now. And this was my very first winning competition, so it was very exciting for me and my whole team.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm sure it's the joy of winning is still continuing through what we're discussing today. Let me go to Mahmudul. If Mahmudul is there, yes, Mahmudul, would you kindly introduce yourself, sir?
Thank you for having us. Truly feels great when your efforts are recognized. I'm Hamdul Hassan Miraz from Team Razmataz. I'm studying at BUP, Bangladesh University of Professionals, Department of Business Administration. And yeah, like Priyata said, this was our first big win, and Alhamdulillah, the experience was great. And I'm grateful for the whole experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahmudul. Last but not the least, Sumaya, would you kindly introduce yourself, ma'am?
Thank you for inviting us. I'm Sumaya Sufi from Team Razmataz. I am also studying business administration in Bangladesh University of Professionals. We're all classmates actually. We're from the same section. And this was not only our first competition and big win in a competition. I feel like this is also our first talk show, especially as a team. So this is definitely a surreal experience.
Great. positive energy flowing all around. And let me go back to that exact moment when you were handed the trophy, the glory, all of that. How did it to win on your home turf? Let me start with Priyota.
So the whole competition, it happened so rapidly. I found the competition on Facebook, and I asked my friends that are they free to do it now, because during that time we were in immense academic pressure. We weren't even sure if we want to participate. So on the day of submitting our first case, we sat together a few hours before submitting it, and we were
Mhm,
discussing through the case and coming up with some feasible yet innovative ideas how to solve our first case. Our first case was how can we diversify our export basket, because we are very much reliant on RNG industry. And through our research, we found out that there are so much potentials in the other industries as well, but they need proper direction, they need promotion, they need something to boost these industries. So our first case was just that we gave some ideas through our case, and it worked, and we went to the next round, and there we had to do a face-off round where we kind of debated with another team. Their idea was also phenomenal, but we had to make the judges believe in our case that ours one is better than theirs. um, we also went through that very nicely. And lastly, the big gala night, and there we were asked to how to promote our textile industry. And through our research, we found out that, of course, China is always in number one position in any industry, but after that, it's Pakistan. So that's how I thought, like, it's our neighbor. How theirs the industry is like thriving so much better than ours. And
yep.
we did some research. We found out how they're tackling their challenges, how they're promoting their products, and we found out some innovative ideas to pitch our idea. And I feel like the two ideas we suggested, that merging our textile industry with our RMG's industry, because both of their operations and their markets are very much similar. So if we merge them, we can benefit from RMG's goodwill in the international market to capture the investors in our country. And our innovative pitch was creating an investment funnel where it's kind of like financial portfolio where you will invest
Yep.
in different industries, so there is less risk and more profits. So I feel like
Mhm.
these ideas worked in our case and made us win the glory.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving us that overview because I was going to ask that anyway. My question, next question is to Mahmudul. So, Mahmudul, I actually was there on the day of the final as one of the representing our company as one of the partners of POMAC and as a sponsor as well. So, while I was there, I thought that I got schooled listening to the final two presentations right before our chief guests were there. So, how much effort do you think got into preparing that presentation? Not just the animation, not just the design, but the content itself.
I mean, we participated in many competitions before this, but those were mostly conventional marketing competitions. But
Yep.
POMAC, on the other hand, it was a innovative policymaking competition, an economics-based competition, which was, we could say that it was out of our comfort zone. So, yeah, provided the fact that it was our comfort zone, it was sort of a challenge for us, and we had to do a lot of research. We had to
Right.
do a lot of research on the policies and how to tackle the problems that are existing and the problems that we may face in the near future. And also, we truly worked our fingers to the bone to achieve this one moment. That's for
R-
certain.
Right. I personally think that whatever was discussed on the day, the amount of research that was required beforehand through the first round, second round could not be compared to the level of outcome that you were producing. It felt like gems coming out from all of the teams. So my next question is to Sumaya. Which round did you feel like was the hardest in POMAC and why?
I think the second round was the most difficult one. It was because it was a face-off round and we only had 15 minutes to prepare. And this is a funny story. We only knew one team that had qualified for the semis, and we knew that it was a very um, how do I say, a highly competitive team, and we were really afraid when we saw that in the lottery their name came against us. So we were
Okay.
mentally at a position of disadvantage, and we only had 15 minutes. And
Mhm.
honestly speaking, when we first saw their script, we thought that, I think it was because of this mental disadvantage, we thought that our solution wasn't as good as them, and we had many uncertainties while facing them. But I'll say this, although it was the most difficult one, it was by far the best one. I think it motivated us so much. It gave us such a big confidence boost. We didn't even know if we were going to win or not, but just performing this nicely against them made us feel really good. So the second face-off round was the most difficult one.
Yes, I think I heard something similar from Team Why Nots as well, saying that the face-off forced them to go out of their comfort zone and something like that. So let me get back to Priyota with the question. And I asked the same question to Team Why Nots as well. Having members from the same department when it comes to their expertise, I realize that all of you are from the business administration department. So is that an advantage, or you think that has nothing to do with a competition like POMAC?
I feel like the major or the stream we're studying in doesn't have anything to do with the competition, if it's a marketing competition or a policy making competition, because most of it comes from innovative thinking and understanding a situation and approaching how to give a solution to it. So no matter which major you're studying right now, it has very little to do with it. It depends on your knowledge on how to do research, how to uh, build a team that will work in different sectors, that will combine the whole team and make it a solid one. So for me, the major does not matter at all, unless it's like a very technical competition like coding or
Yep.
mathematical competitions. Apart from that, any competition that allows you to think creatively, their majors doesn't matter at all.
Right. Thank you for the thought. So obviously we could not have Samin, and he's saying go Razmataz. Thank you so much, Samin, for tuning in. It would have been nice having you on the show, but perhaps someday soon. Let me go back to Sumaya again before I ask Mahmudul the question. So Sumaya, do you think out of many different type of competition, you have debating, you have model event, you have business competitions, you have Halt Prize, which focuses on entrepreneurship. Do you think because you had to research on your own country, you had to research a lot about Bangladesh, it's going to make you a better citizen one way or another because you got to know about facts that wouldn't have come in front of you had you not decided to join POMAC?
Absolutely, I agree that researching about my own country and just thinking about solutions that would make the economy of our own country better has definitely made me, I won't say a better citizen, but I'll say that it has definitely made me more responsible and has given me a different outlook. And I now share these ideas with other people and have started a conversation that, someday these conversations will actually help the economy of Bangladesh.
Right. That's a well put answer. Thank you for that. Let me go to Mahmudul. So Mahmudul, extracurricular activities. So first question, I'm gonna the main question comes before after I get a response, and I'm gonna share it with our viewers. I did not share the questions with the team beforehand. This is absolutely impromptu, so we don't even know where the conversation is going. So, Mahamudul, which club are you a part of, and are you have you been part of any other clubs in your previous academic life?
Well, yes, I have been a part of other clubs in my academic life, and right now I'm a part of the BCC, Business and Communications Club of BUP.
Right.
And but the fact that we couldn't really take part in any offline events or any competitions or any shows or for that matter because of COVID and the lockdowns. So I can really say that even though I was a part of the club, but I couldn't really do much in that case.
Right. So here's my actual question, which I wanted to ask. Now that you are a part of the club, and policy making is something that you have actually somewhat mastered to a level or have experience, enough experience, do you think policy making should be more involved in different extracurricular activities?
Mm. Okay, so well, I'll be honest with you. My biggest takeaway from this competition, POMAC, would be that, I mean, look, we keep on hearing and seeing people talk ill of the government, and they keep on bad mouthing the policymakers about how this could have been done better, how this should have been done this way, or how this should have been done that way, and whatnot. But even though the problems a country face in different aspects may seem very simple at the surface level, but when we truly look at the problem at their depth, we truly understand that there are multiple dimensions to it. And the problems, even though they may seem very simple at the surface level, are not. There are many complexities pertaining to the problems. So I feel that such competitions like POMAC and other policymaking competitions, these competitions truly make you realize that even though the problems may seem simple or we deem them to be simple, but there are much more complexities related to the problems. So we as a nation, if we truly try to understand the problems at the core levels before making any negative comments or bad mouthing the policymakers, we as the nation can grow to greater extent. That would be my biggest takeaway from this competition. And yeah, that's that.
I think that should inspire a lot of people who out
Absolutely.
there, and those who attended POMAC. I believe everyone's a winner in their own terms, simply because they took the first step. They decided that they would want to participate. Let me go back to Priyota, and here's the context. I mean, I was there in the day of the grand finale, and I was paying close attention to our guests, both of the guests, our special guest, Mr. Selim Raihan, and our chief guest, Minister of Parliament, M.A. Mannan. And both of them mentioned a critical factor: Bangladesh losing the status and promoting us from 2026 to the next level when it comes to the least developed countries. So, Priyota, are you somewhat frightened as a student, because someday all of you are going to enter the workforce, and everything that we see, considering the current status of the country, the price hike of daily necessities, the unstable commute system that we have in Dhaka, are you somewhat afraid, because you now know before others, like I know thousands and thousands of people don't even know that in 2026 we're losing that status. Are you somewhat afraid?
Well, it puts me in a position where I think that a lot of things will not be as easy for us as it is right now. Uh, Graduating to a developing country, first of all, we will lose a lot of helps or supports that we are getting right now. So I feel like from a personal level, right now I haven't given it to a very in-depth thought how it will affect me, but I have thought about it how it will affect the lower income people or the people who are living below the poverty line. So
Yep.
to in this balance, it will come up to me. The tax will hike, the VAT will hike. So at the end of the day, I will be the one who has to suffer from it one way or another. I will have to give much higher VAT when I will be just buying rice or a bag of
Yep.
a sack of potatoes, right? Or um, a, a huge portion of from my income will be cut down for tax. So yes, it will eventually impact on myself, if we think it this way, that graduating to a higher scale sounds very alluring, sounds
Yeah,
very like, while we are thriving, but at the end of the day, it's also is the new way, new door of new challenges. So I'm not sure how we will tackle this, but we need to promote this news among people that in a few years things are going to change, and it will be a massive change in the society, in the economy, and it's this change will impact all class of people.
right. Um, Absolutely agree with you in some of the points that you made. And just to give a context to our audience, and again, we're almost at the end of the discussion, just to let everyone know that currently we are in the least developing countries, or we are a developing country, and we will be graduating to the next level in 2026, which will impact certain tariff cuts that we are not being charged right now. We're getting the benefit of being in that category. So my next question is to Sumaya. So Sumaya, how confident are you, and how practical were your solution that you presented in the final round in your own team's solution?
For the final round specifically, I was very confident and I felt like most of our solutions were practical. Of course, a lot of discussions came later after that. Maybe merging with RMG was not as
Yep.
practical. This is actually, this would actually differ according to the opinion and how our government is going to proposition this if they ever
Hmm.
come up with similar notions or ideas. But I did not feel like they were impractical at all. Maybe a little far
Right.
fetched, but for going to that space where we are actually depending on um, sectors other than RMG, we have to, as an economy, be far fetched. We have to take those steps.
Yep.
So, yeah, I feel like they were practical enough, and I was really confident.
No, I must remind everyone that we should be visionaries. As the father of the nation mentioned, that students should be having that vision in order for the success and the progress of the country. In some of his speech, remarkable ones that we remember. So, Sumaya, I agree with that. And hopefully, we also will remember that there could be thousands of solutions to the same problem. So, it doesn't have to be the only solution. Right, let's go back to Mahmudul before I come up to the final question. So, Mahmudul, this question comes something that I have already asked to Team Why Not. So, how do you think companies, corporate entities can support educational institutes, and BUP Economics Club took the initiative? Do you see that more policymaking competitions coming up in the future?
Well, I believe that competitions such as POMAC and other policymaking competitions are very necessary, because if we truly understand what policies are and how they're implemented, and I mean, look, policies are around us everywhere. I mean, the air we breathe, the water we drink, or how fast we drive our cars. These are all determined by the certain policies that our country has, right? So, I believe that policy
Yep.
competitions should be present more, and they should be, you know, done on a routine basis everywhere. And big corporates or big companies, they should support uh, such competitions. I mean, the sponsor for our competition, POMAC, was Citibank and Shah Cement, and I
Right.
wholeheartedly thank them and BUP Economics Club for arranging such an amazing event. The judges, the participants, the partners, of course. And yeah, I feel like such competitions should be around more so that people can be truly aware of what is actually going on in this world.
Right. One thing we all agree that offline events are something that we've waited for more than almost 1.5 years, and we want to see more events coming up. So this is the an open question, my last question of the discussion. Even though we crossed 15 minutes extra, and I appreciate your time. How does it feel actually to win, and where does this put you all as a team? What are your plans in the future? Are you thinking of doing something similar, maybe a startup ecosystem, or maybe come up with some uh, unorthodox ideas to actually make what you suggested reality? Anyone can jump in, and I want to hear from all three of you one at a time.
This was only our second competition together as a team, so there's definitely a long way for us to go, but we're hopeful and we're really confident. And we, for now, plan to participate in as many competitions as we can, because in these 2 years, we haven't really been able to participate according to our heart's content, at least, because online competitions are not the same as offline ones. And
Absolutely.
let we are just waiting to experience different type of things together for now, because this has the journey has only started with this team.
Right. Anyone
Exactly,
jump
and
in?
there is a very good harmony between among us. We all have expertise in different areas, which makes us stand out as a team. So I have really good hope, and I would say dreams about this team, about the team I'm in right now. So I hope in the next 2 years we can participate in as much competitions as we can, for experience, for the memories, and of course for the learning curve. Because through POMAC, I learned about policymaking. I learned a lot about
Yep.
economics. So by participating in different competitions will give me exposure to different knowledges in different sectors.
Absolutely. Mahmudul?
So as my teammates Sumaya said, that this is only the beginning. The journey has only begun, and I wish and I truly hope that we will be participating in more competitions in the near future, and inshallah in global competitions as well. And I must say that I feel very blessed and I feel very proud to be a student of Bangladesh University of Professionals. The level of support we get from our administration and our faculties truly help us go beyond and truly inspire us. So yeah, this is only the beginning. Inshallah, we will be winning more, and you will be seeing us more. Inshallah.
We hope to see you more, Mahmudul. You are absolutely right on the point that Bangladesh University of Professionals is setting examples and standards through every event and almost every semester that is partaken. So, and I must admit that being brave enough and following every single protocol that is out there, making scanning vaccine certificates upon entry, making sure that everyone is aware and arranging in a way that the competition is sustainable and also it's safe for everyone to participate. So, formally, I want to thank the organizers of POMAC, the moderator, the president of BUP Economics Club, the Department of Economics, BUP, and every single partner that were alongside us, ITclan BD. Perhaps we were the smallest entity, but we are speaking till even after weeks of the event, and we would encourage other entities to come forward. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank all three of you, including Samin, for making time, for enduring my questions and keeping a smile face, and overall being supportive to the discussion. Thank you so much for attending the second episode of Join the Clan. I hope all of you take care and stay safe. Any closing remarks?
Oh, thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. As I've already said, it truly feels great when your efforts are recognized. Thank you so much.
You've
Exactly.
earned it. So I'll take your goodbye and then I'll wrap it up. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
So that was Team Razmataz, the winning team from POMAC 2.0. And they definitely set the standard so high because I, as someone who's been preparing for competitions for the last 12 to 13 years with an avid extracurricular activities background, I was awed by their presentation. It was flawless, and as the chief guest mentioned that he was so happy simply because the level of potential they carry. So once again, I would like to thank everyone for joining in. Thank you for listening to the conversation, and all the very best to the bright minds and the winners and all 162 teams that participated in POMAC. Until we come back the next time for episode 3, stay tuned. So this is Ahmed Chayan signing out. Bye bye.